day are we? Day 5? Okay, all right. So we went around the circle and everybody spoke about their breakthroughs. I want to talk about a breakthrough that everybody's going to need to have, okay? When the going gets tough, the strong get stronger. When the going gets tough, the weaker get weaker. You know, when I speak and I try to speak the truth, people get upset. They do get upset when you speak the truth. Can you not turn that on, please? Can you leave that off, whatever that is? Thank you. So, when everything's going good, everything is so good. The only time that you ever really recognize where you are in your life is when things aren't going your way. What do I mean? You will never ever know your emotional health until there's chaos. When there's chaos, you will understand where your emotional health stands. Being able to look at life and understand we cannot control everything. We can only control our emotions and how we act. You know that I'm not making this up now because this is your 5th day in the course. And when we say this, we want to know what's going on, but without judgment. And 99% of the population, they react and attack always. They react and attack themselves and everybody else. 1 out of 100 people will not do that. The greatest time in history is only months away. It's the greatest time for me. Because everything that I have done, everything that I have studied, all the work that I've done on unconditionally loving myself and everybody else, my exam is only weeks or months away. You know, I found COVID to be the greatest thing. And why was COVID the greatest thing? Because I cannot be played. I'm not part of the herd. I know that a virus can't jump 1 inch less 6 feet. I know that a virus is only a toxin and they've never ever isolated the HIV virus or the COVID virus. I know that 99% of the not 99, 999 out of 1,000 people will always believe everything that's government approved. They don't do the research. They don't do the work. There's only 1 out of 100 people that are actually going to be prepared for what's going to happen in the next few weeks to few months. And I'm telling you, it's going to. It has to. We're going to move to digital. The US dollar is now a curse for a lot of countries. And people don't realize that they're going to try to create the exact same thing as in the 1930s. Soup lines. They're going to come and steal everybody's money if they can. Most people aren't emotionally or mentally prepared for what's going to happen. People will be jumping off bridges and towers. I just want to say this, and this is really important, and that is that there's 8 billion of us and 250,000 of them about. And they've been strategizing this for 250 years. Why don't you go do some homework? And it's right around the corner. And the reality is I'm going to make sure that I'm in the present moment and own it so that I can help all of my brothers and sisters, which is everybody in the world. And I know that people are going to be losing it. You know what really was really something that I learned? Everybody that complained and had to explain, and everybody that was a victim, and everybody that points the finger, they use COVID as the excuse. All the miserable people and the victims, before even COVID was even known, they were still that. People were still eating themselves, thinking themselves, drinking themselves to death. Couples were still pointing the fingers at each other and fighting with each other. Families were still fighting. We were still going and fighting the psycho elites wars to go collect all the banking, the mineral rights, and any country that doesn't fall in line of these psychos will just go and join their war. And everybody just... Guys, the United States, we were not the strongest nation in the world. We were just the nation that was told that our money did not have to be backed with any assets. That the Federal Reserve, which isn't owned by the federal government, which is owned by the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and all these other families that are all related, they were just going to print money until the end of time. So now, people don't even know the US dollar is under zero. It's not even worth anything. One minute they're going to wake up, one morning they're going to wake up, and they're going to find the whole system has crashed. How many people know or have studied that back in the 1930s in America, they shut down all the banks and stole everybody's money and went after their gold? What do you think, they're going to do something different again? I am not a financial expert, but I'll tell you one thing. Make sure you have no debts, because everybody believes in this thing that all the debts are going to be erased. Anybody hear about that? Well, that's just a fairy tale BS story. Make sure that you clean up your house, you get rid of your debts. Make sure that you don't waste money right now. And make sure, I would not be saving cash. I would be putting it and paying off my home, or I'd be buying gold or silver. I'm going to give everybody a little of advice. I'm not telling you I'm intelligent, but I am logical. And if you haven't ever heard of Ripple or XRP, everybody's heard of Bitcoin, right? Yes. Well, that's because you're allowed to. I'm not telling you couldn't have made money on it, but Bitcoin's the illusion. XRP, Ripple, is not the illusion. It's how all money is going to travel around the world. If you can get yourself any XRP, you're still risking. Anything you do in life is a risk. But I will have no cash. Even with my business right now, I'm meeting with my accountants. And I'm saying only have as much money in that bank account within 6 weeks. 6 weeks from now. Only have as much money in our bank account in America to run the place. All the rest of it's coming out. It's going into gold, it's going into silver, it's going into, for me, XRP. And also, I'm looking at purchasing a home here in Mexico. I've got a place in the United States already, but all I've done is kept an apartment there in the United States, because I already know that United States, there will be civil war and unrest like nothing ever that we've seen for the next, when the Super Bowl kickoff comes, for 5 to 7 years. You can't destroy the economy and not think there's going to be unrest, and there's not going to be soup kitchens, and there's not going to be chaos. Now, am I trying to do this to scare people? No. And people on here are going to either go, there's logic to this, or he's just a fear mongerer. What's he trying to sell? I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm trying to tell you that when this happens, the weak get weaker, Okay? The strong get stronger. And most people are not emotionally prepared. You guys aren't emotionally prepared yet. You have to know how to unconditionally love yourself and not take things personal. If you can't even stop taking things personal in your own relationship or with your family. How are you going to do that? There. The end of the world is not coming. It's a new world coming. And then we'll have all the religious fanatics going crazy. I'm not going to take a chip in my wrist or put something in my brain, but it's going to be digital. And when we go digital, it's actually going to be better. And it's not going to be where they're going to track me. I'm never going to play the game where they can track me. If you actually did your homework, but everybody runs around just freaking out. You know, there's different types of evolution. We're going into a different evolution. We're evolving into something and you can't stop it. You can if you want to go and buy yourself a farm and be around no people and get yourself a horse and buggy. You'll be able to do that. You can still do that. But the reality is this, I'm telling you, that guess what? All that COVID did was show us that most of the population is mentally unstable and that they don't take responsibility for researching. 80% of the population has gotten at least one of the Bs, 2 of the Bs, 3 of the Bs. They never did any research. Where is God in all of this? Don't give me your crap. I just love these religious people waiting for the Savior to come, but meanwhile they've had 3 Bs already. Whatever happened to that? I'm not judging anyone. Do whatever you want. But guess what? When the going gets tough, the only people that are going to handle this, and I'm not talking about the person with 50,000 guns and ammo. You're either stable or you're unstable, yes or no. You can either not take it personal and actually plan for things a little bit. I'm not going to get on here and tell anybody what to do. I just told you what I'm doing. For one thing, okay, I love America, but I am not going to make it my home for the next 7 years. I'm going to go where there's cartel murdering everyone every day. And that's what everybody believes. All my American brothers and sisters, most of them won't come down to Mexico because everybody's getting murdered. Meanwhile, I travel the world, and it's the safest, most beautiful, loving place in the world. And tell me I'm wrong. I've been here for years. You know, when I was running the Extapa World Healing and Training Center, we had thousands of people come down, didn't we, Sandra? Yeah. Sometimes that resort had almost 200 rooms, and we had it full, didn't we? Yeah. Gosh, you know, people would be coming down, the alcoholics, and they would binge themselves in alcohol and get so drunk that the police or somebody that lived in the neighborhood would help them get home. There was nobody that ever got attacked. It's all an illusion. Everything's an illusion. First of all, you have to unconditionally love you, care for yourself before you make a logical decision and you stop. And then here's TikTok. You like to freebase, huh? Because you have to understand something. If your beliefs do not match the majority of the population, then you're crackers. Understand, Mr. Freebaser who said, I like to freebase, it's only going to be months before you're going to find out that you're not even on base. And guess what? I would love to be wrong. Let me be wrong. Remember something. I risk opening my mouth. It's easy for me to just play Inky Dinky Schnitzel House and talk about what everybody just wants to hear. I make more money. I can stroke everybody and then I can sell more product and make more money. I don't care. Money cannot be my purpose. Do you want to know what we did? So we're doing a world tour, right? Does everybody know that mortgage rates have gone up, that prices of food have gone up? Everything has gone up. Hotels have gone up. They think that if they put their prices up, they're going to get their money back. Okay, I told you guys that I get up every night around 2:30, 3 o'clock. I just wake up. It's a routine. I sit quietly. And it was this. That little thing in my head, which isn't little, and I don't want to get into it, it's my belief. It said either you cancel this tour or you reduce the price by 30 to 40%. And I'm going, there goes my profit. And the reality is this. While everybody's inflating, I'm going to deflate my price. And we're going to go do this tour because we are not going to let these psychos, okay, destroy people's passion and purpose to come and become a whole life coach or Wolf Non-Surgical, or for the couples not being able to afford to want to fix their marriage or to find unconditional love for themselves and each other and find strength. So now it's not in US dollars anymore. Everything is in the currency of the country that we're going to be going to, and we've reduced our price by about, depending on the country, it's like 30 to 40%. Understand something. When the going gets tough, don't get tougher. Get stronger here. And how do you get stronger? You stay quiet. And you know that there is a God. And that if you lose your shit, you're going to create one hell of a mess. Try to stay calm. Take a look at your life right now. What can you do to find more solitude, more serenity? What can you do to be around people that will hold the loving line for themselves? If you have a family of people that if things don't go right, they fight, you get yourself out of there. If you live or hang around with people that unless things go their way, don't stay. If you live in a place that gets real cold, you make sure you got wood and a fire stove. You make sure, you know how they told us to prepare for YK2? They knew it wasn't going to be any problem. They have had us jumping and running all the time. I need everybody to go back and take a look at the last economic huge crisis in the 30s. They closed the banks. They stole the money. They're going to do it again. Do you believe that bankers are your friend? If you actually knew and you were moving money around like I do, you'd know that they're trying to stop it. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. I'm not an economist. I am nothing. But I am telling you, I am staying calm and doing what I believe. I already told you what I'm doing financially. And health-wise, I have my apartment in the States. It's going to stay empty most of the time. I'm going to be where there's no GMOs, okay? Where it's warm every day. Where I can buy organic at 50% cheaper than anything in the United States because there's only organic down here. They don't use pesticides, herbicides. I'm going to live where the people here are so beautiful and so humble with what they have. Do you think I want to go back home where everybody is spoiled? As soon as down here where I live right now, I don't have warm water. So I had a tantrum when I first got here. But you don't need hot water. Think about it. the people that were awake and the people that understood that we are emotional beings and as energy in motion, when COVID came, how many people know that when COVID came, people fell apart, right? How many people know that when COVID came, you can go back and watch my videos. I said, here's the end of the world that everybody thinks coming. Okay? I'm going to triple my business. And I told every one of my practitioners that we teach, I'm going to triple my business. Do you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to 10 times my business through this crisis. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a studio. I'm going to keep on coming on and telling the truth. You know what? We've never ever given away the Perfect Day Guide before. And the Perfect Day Guide, you know, it's 550 pages, and that thing is 45 years of my work. I hope you know that we have had tens of thousands since Christmas that are in people's hands around the world. This is a time of not going into a shell. This is a time of giving everything away to help everyone else rise. I'm not talking about your home, give it away. I didn't say that. But whatever your gift is, don't let them shut you down. You know, I'm prepared for it, okay? Because in the middle of COVID, you know, I was attacked by a huge TV station, yes or no? Who made a bullshit story, said I killed 3 people, but meanwhile, they're still letting me run free, so I guess I can just run around and kill people. And I killed them with unconditional love and nutraceuticals. And I stole people's money. See, the reality is I want to thank them because they prepared me. You know, you're going to have tests in life, and those tests are to help you rise. If you could just understand something. If I could get this into your head, Trevor, that everything that's going to happen here for the next 5 to 7 years is to make you stronger. If you focus on your passion and purpose, and you say, okay, do we know that there's psychopaths that have been given the keys to the city? So understand, if the psychopaths control energy, if they control certain things, then you're going to want to start thinking right now just how you can keep things more comfortable, right? And get yourself out of harm's way. Everything's a lie and everything's a story, and that's it. Everything's a lie. Everything's a lie. Everything that I've ever been taught was a lie, or it was a partial truth, and that was it. And understand something. Until this thing is released, which won't be long, it's coming. It's coming. You better stop finding things to hate. You better stop pointing your fingers. If it wasn't for this, I'd have this. If it wasn't for that, I'd be there. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be da-da-da. You know what? You need to stop this. The strong are going to get stronger, but I'm not talking about this strength. I'm talking about this strength. I'm talking about being able to connect to your lion heart breathing and stay there. Wear a slight smile no matter what's going on in the world. If you want to buy into any trauma with your children, with your husband, with your wife, you are going to lose your health. People have never been so depressed. They've never taken so many antidepressant meds, so many pain meds. They've never drank as much alcohol. They've never smoked as much pot. We've never had as much disease on this planet. There are things getting better. These guys have it all planned. As soon as they go and tell you the end of the world is coming. You know what? If I hear today, oh my God, you hear they're going to go to... I don't listen to anything. Did we talk about anything outside of us? No. You need to be selfish enough to know that the only thing that you need to focus on is the moment you rise until you close your eyes to unconditionally love yourself, and do not listen to anybody's story. Stick with your passion and purpose, and just say, if there was a psycho running this world, what do I need to do that they don't have control of something? What do I need to do that? That's all you have to do. So just think about it. Come together, and when you do it, you don't talk with anxiety. This is a cat and mouse game. I remember I got this gift Christmas time called Mousetrap. Learn how to play the game. Just learn how to play the game. Be selfish enough to take a look at your life and say, how can I improve it? And what am I doing that I know in my heart of hearts I should be doing, but I'm putting off because I'm listening to fearful people? When are you going to love yourself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else? Because somebody's got to do that. That's how we create bravery. That's how we create bravery. So anyways, my kids, they know. They used to think I was really psycho when I started this unconditional love thing, okay, over 30 years ago. And then I started teaching it. They called me Jesus. They called me Buddha. These were my own kids. This is my own wife. Oh yeah, they mocked me. And the reality is that people aren't mocking me anymore, except people that just come on like this guy here and says that, I smoke crack. You have to get to the point that you love and respect yourself first and foremost. And then you allow everyone to have their beliefs. And then to stop trying to change people. You can't change people. It's exhausting. You can't change your husband, can't change your wife, can't change your children. Like, guess what? I said to all my kids, I don't want them moving down here right away. I'm not ready. I said, you go and stay where you need to stay, where you're at. Just know this. Lori and I are all ready because we love our family. We're already preparing. And guess what? If it doesn't happen, then guess what? When they come to visit, there's room. And if it doesn't, and I've never prepared for a crisis before, because we're not going into a crisis, the world's changing. There's been evolutions happening all the time. And always before an evolution, there's a revolution. There's going to be a lot of revolting here, right? Yeah, and remember something, these psychos, how do they control us? Well, they poison the food. They're even going to try to cut the food off. They're going to cut anything to do with energy they want to try to control. That's how you control people. And through the chaos is how they're going to try to bring in their new rules and laws. See, you got to love it, right? Okay? You got to love it. So here's the most dangerous place in the world, Mexico. No herbicides, no pesticides, no chemtrails. No one ever hassles anybody for anything. I know people that have moved down here and they've lived here now for 5, 8, 10 years and they still don't have residency. They just come and go. I mean, it's like this. I know people are trying to get across the border and come into America from Mexico, but you can sell anybody anything. They're all going for the American dream. And little does anybody know, the only reason why we were the most powerful nation in the world, okay, is because the Federal Reserve can print money and it doesn't have to back it with any assets like other countries. But now they spent so much that the US dollar is not worth zero, it's under zero. Everything is just a make-believe thing. The problem is that, a lot of my friends and relatives are going to wake up one morning and everything's shut down. It doesn't exist anymore. And it's going to happen. And understand something, here's a video so everybody can just bash me all they want, but let them do it. And then everybody's going to go, oh, I didn't realize. Oh, yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did. You did realize. And the inflation thing is going to give you a really good idea. So all that's happening right now is the bankers are trying to get situated and they're trying to grab as much money as they can. These people are just greedy parasites. They've always lived on us, but now their whole system's going to break because they can't help themselves but get greedy. That's why in the 1930s all the banks closed down, because they were pigs, and now they're being pigs again. But they're allowed to do that. Do you know why? Because the Rothschilds and the families that are right at the top, they want this chaos. Because remember something, guys, we're created by God Almighty. If you didn't drink alcohol, if you didn't smoke, if you didn't toke, if you didn't go through drive-thrus And if you didn't lose your shit all the time, every time somebody said something and you didn't agree with it, you just lose your crap and you always fight with yourself and you fight with the world. That's how you keep low vibrational beings, and that's why this is a slave planet. I'm nobody's slave. They didn't know how to get at me, so they have to create a story. And if the story was true, anybody that murdered 3 people should be in jail, shouldn't they? And then what did I do for the next year? You know as well as I do, if you follow me, I'd say, hey, listen, I'm going to be coming to this city, so come and get me, come and arrest me. They wouldn't come. Why? Because the media can say anything and do anything, and the government can too. You do know that if you work for the government, the higher you go, the bigger the lie you tell. Nobody's coming after you. Just like, you know, there's so many people out there going, either they're saying, God will get them later, or they're going to be going to court. How many of these people are going to go to court? 0. They might take one person and just fry their butt as a distraction because they never liked that one. But the reality is nobody else is going. You do understand, right? The reality is we should have minded our own business. If you would have taken all the energy and you were using that energy because you unconditionally loved yourself. If you're not selfish enough from the moment you rise until you close your eyes to focus on your passion, your dreams, your purpose, and then allowing your family to be what they need to be, and then when they come and they attack you or your family has a tantrum, oh, look, it's 3:15 and this is when Jenny blows, and you love her anyway. We can only teach people through unconditional love. And when you have unconditional love and care for yourself, you will have it all. As long as you are treating your family like a nipple and they need to tell you how good you are, okay? And as long as you believe that suffering is the way to the Lord, as long as you believe that suffering for your family is how you show your approval and your value. I never suffer for my family, but I'm there 100%. They know that. Now they realize, holy crap. So when I'm losing my stuff and breaking down and Dad's not going, oh, my poor baby, you'll be okay. And I'm going, hey, if you want, we can sit down, we can create a new strategy, tell a new story. But if you want, you can just keep on living in your suffering. Just know when you're ready, I'm here. And I do that with all of you, don't I? Okay, I go kick the shit out of yourself. And when you're all done, okay, let's create a new story. I will not tell any story that's got anything to do with any organization. I tell my own story. And guess what? This is the reality. If you all minded your own business and you got up this morning and you decided to make your own story, that means you don't follow any religion. That means you don't follow any government rules. That means that all you do is create a story that's based on unconditional love for yourself first and foremost, and no judgment to any other human being, situation, corporation, system on this planet. I have no judgment. When somebody says, do you want to play Monopoly? And I say yes, and then I lose at the Monopoly, I'm not going to lose my shit and say I want to play Scrabble. I'm going to stay connected to my breath and figure out the rules so that I can win and get all those properties and not keep going to jail. Do you understand? This is planet Earth. It's not going to change for you. Nothing's going to change. The government's not broken. The medical system's not broken. These are systems to keep us low vibrational. Come on. The medical system's run by Big Pharma. Big Pharma's run by Big Petroleum, because that's what all the pharmaceutical drugs are, and then the majority calls them medicinals. It's none of my business. My business is not to put these things down. These things aren't going away. I can't go in and fix something that's not broken. The medical system's not broken. I'm so pissed off at my doctor. All he wants to do is give me drugs and surgery. That's like saying, I'm really pissed off at the guy on the corner who sells drugs. He only wants to sell me drugs. No, but what's the difference? What's the difference? Same. But the reality is that people don't wake up to this. So who's going to break the family curse? The family curse is believing that it's in the suffering. The family curse is believing that the majority rule. No, the majority are ruled. They'll always be ruled. Oh my God, but just if my family would just accept me. My family doesn't accept me. My kids don't accept me 100%. I accept them 100%. But they don't accept me 100%. Why? Because my belief systems don't match theirs, and they still want to do more alcohol. They want to do more drugs, okay? They want to make their own mistakes. So I'm going to let them do that. They know I'm here for them. They know how I choose to live. I'm no saint. I'm not telling you I'm a saint. Listen, I'm just really glad that my kids didn't do as much drugs as I did, alcohol, and weren't as crazy as I was. That's a blessing. You know, to think that you are not going to become part of the system and do drugs and alcohol and lose your shit. Everybody does. Because we're programmed for that. Our parents loved us the best they could, but they didn't know how to love themselves. Our parents fed us the best they could, but they couldn't feed themselves. Because everybody was given the same manual. I'm never going back there, and I'm not going to back off because some guy says I'm on crack. You know? Oh, you'll wake up, you're a fool. See? This is the stuff. And I love you anyway. What kind of day is he having? Everybody here is allowed to have any belief system they want. I never tried to change one of your belief systems. I only asked you to do one thing when you're here. What was that? Have unconditional love for yourself. Never judge yourself again. There is no amount of judgment that should be in your life. Tell me when guilt helped you. Tell me when depression helped you, sadness helped you. Tell me that when you did have guilt for something that you could think straight. David, when you're guilty, you feel guilty about something, how do you treat your beautiful wife?
Terrible.
Terrible. Understand something, everyone. Get rid of sinner syndrome right away. Get rid of I'm a failure right away. You need to repeat something 10,000 times. And if you actually do something with all your heart, and you're like me, like I dramatize everything, right? And I put myself into it, and I put lots of energy into it. Guess what? You only have to repeat it 1,000 times, and you created a new belief. If you don't put any passion into it, Rose, and you want to stay soft all the time and really quiet so nobody recognizes you, how long is it going to take for you to change, Rose? You won't. You're never going to change, Rose. You're going to play around with it until you find your Braveheart lioness roar. And that doesn't mean going around yelling at people. It means that you are standing for yourself. And that you're going to go, what would I do if I totally fell in love with myself? Remember, think of the people that you totally fell in love with in your life. What would you do for them, Rose? Anything. And guess what, Rose? You've hardly done anything for yourself, yes or no? Nobody sees you, nobody knows you. It's the truth. You would do anything for anyone, and that makes you the poison. Because we end up keeping the victims in our family victims, don't we? Because we need a sense of purpose. If you don't have value, what are you trying to do? You're trying to bring your value up with everybody outside yourself. Until you have an understanding that your value should be unlimited with yourself. Because depending on a person's belief systems, that's the value they're going to put on you. Like right here, right now. Somebody's putting like 0 value on me right now. And that's okay. Because if my belief systems don't match the people that are coming on here, then guess what? They're coming for me, right? Because a person that has unconditional love for themselves does not care if everybody else has different beliefs. And when you allow people to have the beliefs that they have, that's love, honor, and respect. When you actually have unconditional love for yourself, you don't have to open your mouth. You're showing people that, guess what? You don't have to feel like a sinner. You don't have to feel like a loser. You don't have to feel like a failure. And guess what? You're not going to hell for it. Everybody believes that they're going to go to hell unless they suffer for everything that they go off track with. And guess what that does? That keeps you off track longer, doesn't it, David? Absolutely. It'll keep you off track for a lifetime. What if I totally loved, honored, and respected myself, and every decision I was going to make was going to make my life more blissful, more beautiful? Most people have been taught they'll never do that. The majority of the population will never, ever do this. You know what? You know what I've done? By loving and giving myself the best life ever. And understand something, guys. I've traveled more than 99.9% of the population all over the world. And there's nowhere I'd rather live than Mexico. There's not another country that is as free. Also, guess what? I love the price I pay for things. And it's and here in Zihuatanejo, Ixtapa, we have, you know what we have? 300 sunny days a year. And the other days are just cloudy. Nobody can starve me out. I can go down, throw a fishing pole in, catch a fish in 10 minutes. And this big. I have to share it with everyone because I couldn't eat it all. Nobody's going to starve me. There's coconuts everywhere. You know, you got to watch it because the one might hit you on the head. Nobody's going to starve me. There's avocado trees everywhere. Oh my gosh. So the reality is when these psychos start to unleash their power, we're coming for your children and you. You know, oh wow, okay, fine, come and get me. What are they going to do down here? I mean, I love it. Mexico said no to GMOs, said no to chemtrails, said no to pesticides and herbicides. They don't believe in genocide. They believe in genocide in my country. And I've never lived in a country where I've been allowed to be exactly what I want to be. Is this the truth, everyone? Do you ever see me with shoes? Supermarket, restaurants, doesn't matter if I go to just a little tienda on the corner or I go to a 5-star restaurant. I'm in bare feet. This is how I want to live. I'm going to live where I'm allowed to fall in love with myself and stay there. I'm going to surround my people. I'm going to surround myself around people that allow that. When I come into this class, it doesn't matter. You can love yourself, don't love yourself. You have the opportunity to do it. But the problem is that some of you have been so mentally or physically or sexually abused that you live in the basement with this invisible cage around you. Don't you feel it melting for most of you? But what are you going to do? I want to know what you're going to do when you go home. And when people start looking at this, and guess what? You used to use them as a nipple. And when they're suffering and you don't buy into their suffering, are you going to be able to hold the line and just smile and say, come here, and give them a hug, heart to heart, and don't talk about their problem? And say, listen, if you want, I'll help you, but let's not focus on your problem. Let's focus on the solution. Do you understand? Do most people focus on the solution? No. So what I said earlier, the strong get stronger, and it's all about emotional strength. Understand something. If everybody decided not to react, hey, what do the Buddhists teach? Don't react, don't they? Stay calm. I don't want to be a Buddha because that's too, okay? I don't want to be there. But for some people, they love that. The reality is I just want you not to do this. Anytime that you feel charged up or a negative feeling coming on, I want you to put your hand on your heart. I want you to put a slight smile on, and I want you to breathe in 6 seconds and out 7 seconds, and do that 3 times. And guess what? You will not lose it. I've already told you this. Everyone, anybody high up in the medical system, anybody in government has been taught, and they went to training. No matter what you're doing, even if we're lying, because we have to lie to these people, because, you know, we have to lie to them because they can't handle the truth. So when you're lying, if they realize you're lying, all you got to do is have a slight smile, no reaction, and then just let them lose their shit. They'll look stupid, and even though people may believe you're lying, as soon as the other person loses their themselves on an emotional level, we win, and we'll just keep moving forward. And is that what they've been doing? Is that what they've been doing? You know they're lying. And then let's use that, and let's use fear tactics, false evidence appearing real. And let's create a war over here and a war over here and a disaster here. And then guess what happens? I didn't know what to do, so I did nothing. Why don't you talk to a lot of breast cancer patients? They don't want radiation. They don't want chemo. They don't want surgery. They don't know where to go. It's hard to find the answers because the answers are being hidden. So the woman comes to us, and she's coming with a breast that's spewing pus and blood, and the breast is all twisted and contorted because she hates herself, and she also hates herself because her husband can't handle it, can't see it, doesn't know how to help her, so she's hiding it until the thing is just this, looks like this dried up rock with a big ulceration spewing out blood and pus, and then it's, Dr. Wolf, can you help us? And what do you think we get? What do you think I get? I get the leftovers of these guys. And then they turn around and say we murdered them. Do you understand? This is the whole game. I don't really care. I'm going to speak out. They're not after me. They already were. I don't know what else they think they could do to me. They've come after me 3 times like this in my lifetime. That's a hat trick. They're after the low-hanging fruit, the person that reacts and attacks, the person that loses themselves, that's going to go opt for the drugs to numb themselves out, or the family that doesn't know how to handle that person's emotions, so they're going, go see a specialist, and the specialist gives them drugs, yes? And then in the psych ward, right? Oh God, and then don't be a high-spirited person, right? Because if you're a high-spirited person, your family's going to want to drug you. Nobody said it was going to be fair, but what one hell of a great game this is, eh? What hell of a great... This is the most amazing game I could ever play. Can I say something? How would you all like to go to a movie tonight that's so boring you fall asleep? How would you like to go to a movie where it looks like it's the end of the world, and then somebody walks out of the cornfield and saves the day, and it's you? Do you understand? So at every given moment, you need to be the hero of your story. And to do that, you're going to need to connect to that Lionheart breath, that slight smile, and you are not going to speak. Okay, now, I'm not yelling at you. Let me show you something. I don't care. I want an answer right now. Well, you're not going to have it. What do you mean? You're going to answer me right... And that's how life comes at you, right? That's how people come at you. You're going to answer me right now. And if you're on the phone, you're going to go, just know that I love you. And I'm hanging up as gentle as I can. And I'm going to block you for 24 hours. And then I will be calling you. And if you yell at me again, I will block you again for 24 hours. And just know that I love you. You always start a conversation with, before we start this conversation, I want you to know I love you. And understand something. You're not going to scare me or terrorize me to get to do anything. I want to have a beautiful, loving relationship with you, one built on respect. But guess what? Until I respect and know how to protect myself and love myself, me and you are not going to be able to have a relationship. I will take responsibility for this terrorizing relationship that we've had for the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I no longer want to abuse myself, so I can't abuse you. What are you talking about? I'm not abusing you. Understand something. I'm going to be practicing unconditional love for myself, and I need to get that so that I can do that for me and you. I'll take responsibility for every fight we've ever had, but I will not take responsibility for every fight we're ever going to, because I'm never fighting with you again. And understand, I want you to think about this. We have had this conversation, me and you, for how many years? And we keep on going around in a circle because we don't even realize that our subconscious is 90% of our brain and just runs programs. Now I'm going to go in and erase and replace with unconditional love for myself, and then I'm going to have it for you. And I'm hoping that we can actually have that conversation someday. I'm not fighting with you. I'm also not going to fight with the world. I'm not going to go, you know, the biggest thing that I could ever do for this planet is to think right, drink right, eat right, and love you anyway. And that's all I'm going to do. You're not going to get anything else from me. I'm not going to war with you. I'm not going to war with anyone else. And that's it. And understand something, you're going to need to surround yourself with people that don't lose their stuff. Remember something, before COVID, how many times were you losing your stuff? How many times were your children, your family, your friends, your husband, your wife, your uncle, your aunt losing their stuff? And how many people still talk about politics and religion like they're trying to protect it? It's amazing what you'll do to protect a lie. It's amazing what you'll do to protect belief systems that aren't even yours. You'll know when belief systems are yours. They're unconditional love. You don't have to forgive yourself or anyone else ever again. My religion is unconditional love for myself and everyone else. I never have to forgive anyone. My daughter said to me the other day, "Dad, will you forgive me?" I said, "You already know I'm not going to forgive you. I never judged you." "Yeah, but Dad, I'm really sorry. I said I wouldn't do that again." I go, "Yeah, I know, but I knew you would. You'll keep doing it until you love yourself enough not to do it, honey. That's okay. If you don't want to let other people off the hook, then fine. Then you're the terrorist. You're the poison. You can take that to the bank. But just know this, the bank may not be open later. They did it before, they'll do it again. Why don't you do your homework? They shut down all the banks and they stole people's money. Welcome to the United States. And the only reason why we were the greatest country in the world is because the Federal Reserve could print as much money as it wanted and build as much ships and tell everyone to join us because we need to protect us. When's the last time we were attacked? The only attack I know, and I'm not going to tell you when it was, we did it on ourselves. And everybody knows that. Seriously, you know what? I am no patriot. All right? I am no patriot. I am not going to be a patriot. I am no patriot. I will join no war. Okay? I will have the power of love, not the love of power. And that's it. It's over. So now what's the United States going to do in the next 20 years? Because the United States will not be the power country of the world anymore. So now would be a good time to mind your own business and be the powerhouse of love for yourself and your family, and that's where it should have been. So, the emotionally strong will become stronger, and the emotionally weak are going to lose it, and they are going to fall apart. What are you going to do about that? Well, first of all, you're psychologically going to prepare yourself, because if your family is not working on unconditional love for themselves and each other right now, there is going to be atomic bombs going off. And that is going to happen for the next 5 to 7 years. Oh my God, I can't take it. I hardly could get through COVID. Then why didn't you get your butt to a whole life coach course? Why didn't you? I give you a money back guarantee. Did I change? Have we changed the way you view everything right now? Are you ready? It's the 5th day. We got 3 more days left. So guess what I did? I want to keep doing this. So guess what? I told all my staff, I've got 30 people working for me, we have to cut back on spending everywhere, because now when we go to do the courses, our profit is cut down to what? our profit is 7%. That's our profit on the courses after we market and we do everything on the Whole Life Coach and the Wolf Non-Surgical and the Pelvic course. So we're going to be here, then we're going to go to Barrie, Ontario, Canada, then we're going to Sacramento, California, okay? Then we're going to be going to Stuart, Florida, we're going to London, England, we're going to Greece, we're going to Australia, I can't remember where else, but it's all on Braveheart Nation. And I'm going to tell you something. People try to attack me. There's nothing left to attack anymore. I've given everything I can. I give my Perfect Day Guide away free. Free. The PDF of it. And it is the most powerful book, I guarantee you, that you will read if you read it. And it's on a personal level. It's to change you, not to bring more money into me. Of course, my nutraceuticals are in there. But basically, everything in there is based on you taking your power back and loving you. It's got nothing to do with anything except loving you. Letting yourself off the hook for every bullshit crime and every sin, which means just missing the mark if you looked it up in the dictionary. I'm going to sin all my life and I don't care what you say. That which created my universe has always had unconditional love for me. I don't know why you actually believe a bullshit story that which created us, okay, is watching us and judging us, loves us unconditionally, but is going to send us to hell. How many laws do the Jewish have? 55 or something? Well, my religion has 10. How many does yours have? Don't want to know. I'm just saying. Cut the crap. There are no rules. Those are for fools. It's unconditional love. Anybody that comes down here, okay, all right, you already did a wonderful job. Everybody that you've ever been trained by is adulterated unless they have unconditional love for you and themselves, yes or no? They're adulterated. I don't remember one teacher that loved himself and taught love. They just told me I couldn't go urinate and I couldn't have a poo. And if I got caught talking to anybody in the class or having fun when I was young, I was going to get my leather on my skin, or I was going to have my nose up against the hall wall during lunch so everybody can see the idiot. I had to wear a string around my neck and it said Chatterbox. And I had to wear it home and I had to wear it back to school. So how were my parents brainwashed? And my mother said, you deserved it. Today, they could get sued. So understand something, it's still bullshit that's going on. You want to put up with the suffering, you want to put up with that stuff, you go ahead and you do it. I'm not putting up with any of it. And just know this, the majority of the population will always take you to the butcher. Why? Because they're stupid? No. Because guess what? These psychos, they don't even like each other. How many people know that the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers are at war with each other right now? Because those two families are fighting to see who's going to run the digital currency platform for the world right now. You didn't know that, did you? You did. Yeah, you would. Of course you would. You're doing your homework. So you don't even know that. And every war that's going on, you shouldn't be involved. You should be minding your own business. It's got nothing to do with you, but you decided to opt in because you don't like yourself. You don't like your life. So instead of admitting you don't like yourself, don't like your life, and you don't know why you do, but you don't because it's just your belief systems in your subconscious aren't yours. They were programmed into you from 0 to 7. And then guess what? Of course, you watch Netflix, you watch the news, and you listen to the bullshit that goes on. So guess what? It's all over you. You stink of it. You don't know that you're rolling around in poo if everybody else is doing it. So this is the last world tour I'm doing. Does anybody know why? Because by the end of this tour, by this fall, We're going to be right in the thick of this thing. And then I'm only going to be doing courses in Mexico, Texas, and if Canada isn't just one big concentration camp by then. So for sure, Texas and Mexico, that's it.
Feels like it already.
Oh no, it's not there yet. Yeah. Yeah. You can't have psychopedophiles running a country and think that they're not going to go all the way. And I'm not calling them names. This is what they do. And they don't care because you think they're going to be taken to task. They never will be. But guess what? They'll tell you you'll be taken to task for any little thing you do. But they can absolutely do anything because remember something. Inside the government, there's an internal government that monitors the government, that makes all the decisions, that feeds the evil entity that are these families. Come on, think about it. What an orgasm to actually be able to hogtie, control, and murder, poison whenever you want and get away with it. And remember, these families, with their belief system, don't believe me, do your homework. All they have to do is let you know that they're going to poison you or murder you, and their God says you're off the hook. It was the same way that I was raised. It didn't matter what I did, as long as I got on my knees and begged God, please. I was off the hook. So what did I keep doing? I kept repeating it. Now that I've taken ownership for my life and not making God responsible for how I act and who I love, that I will love myself and everyone else because I realize that that which created the universe can only be that. And so you can take your story and take it where the light doesn't shine, for me. But everybody's allowed to have their own story. And remember, they told you, didn't they? They called it his story, history. They called it his story because they have to give you a clue. It's all their story. Remember, whoever wins the war gets to tell the story. That's the way it's always been. But guess what? I'm going to tell my own story and not go to war. I'm going to bring it up even another level. It's my story. I don't care what people do. I don't care what they think about me. I don't need their approval. I'm not going to take anything personal. And I'm also not going to judge anyone. You can have any belief system you want. It's your life. It's your adventure. And remember, this is a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure when you have unconditional love for yourself. I didn't say for me. I could care if you love me. I told you that first day, didn't I? First few minutes. Don't like me? Don't love me. But let me know if I did my job, because you need to leave here having unconditional love for yourself so that you don't sit in judgment of yourself or your family ever again. That you are actually recycling your energy. My God, why can't we go back to when we were the happiest in our life and make that kitty litter called our world back into a sandbox and stay there? Wouldn't it be great if your wife doesn't need approval for being happy all day just because you're a miserable son of a bitch? But you're not. But do you see? Right? But that's not who you are. But you see how it is? I mean, we get raised thinking that if we marry someone, if they're not suffering with us, they don't love us. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Not at all.
Liar.
Not anymore.
Never guilt another human being again. Never guilt another human being again. No matter what a person does to me, I will never guilt them again. I will lovingly, calmly, softly lay out, listen, I get it. I get it. This is who you are. You know? The reality is I can't do this and I can't do this. This is not who I am. I would love to fight with you like we used to, but I can't. You're right, and I'm going to be happy. You're right, and I'm going to be happy. And that's what I do. I don't fight with my kids. You know, parents think that they can fight with their kids and they've got to win. I'm not going to do that. You're right, honey. Now she doesn't know what to do. You're right. What do you mean I'm right? Well, where you're coming from, you're right. Well, what do you think? It doesn't matter what I think. All I know is I love you. And you can be right on this. You have to understand, they want you to hurt yourself and hurt your family. With unconditional love, we wouldn't be going through a drive-through. We wouldn't be saying, let's plan to have fun on Friday night, because we'd be having fun all the time. Now we got to actually plan to have it. Or let's go celebrate and wake up with a hangover, which means that we just destroyed a ton of brain cells and pathways. Every time you celebrate, you eat bad food. Every time you celebrate, you treat yourself bad. Oh, but we are the most intelligent species in the universe. So remember something. Observe yourself without judgment and make that your priority. And that is the gift that you give your family. And love them anyway. And you will heal from every disease. Every disease means you're not at ease. Every disease means you're out of alignment, out of harmony. Every disease means you are not feeding your spirit. What's the only thing you leave with when you leave from this planet? As a spirit being. What did you come with when you came into this planet? So what is the most important thing that you focus on? And if you focus on your spirit, you'll heal your physical body. When you only focus on your pain, your suffering, and your disease, you're suffocating your spirit. And that's called the invisible bonds that bind us. When you make your joy number one, you will create love all around you. Give up this. You complete me. Give up this. Without you, I'm nothing. Give up this. Every time you leave, I'm scared for you. Give it up. Give it up. How do we show our love? The more we worry about someone, that's how you've been taught. What a poison. What a poison. But guess what? That's because you don't have value. So guess what? There's the relationship. I'll stay broken so you have value. Please stay broken so I have value. Did you get that? That's your relationship. That's your relationship. Kind of sucks, eh? Now you see it. If I would have came into your house before you came to this course and said that, you'd kick me out. Well, you wouldn't like that I said it. Because guess what you got to do? You don't try to open up a door that's the hinges are rusty. I came in and put WD-40 on that for the last 5 days. And now the door, I don't even have to walk over it. You guys have already opened it. And I already know that. You've already opened it. So now I get to mind my own business. Right? But how hard have we been going at this stuff for 5 days, everybody? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't let you get away with anything, would I? And you weren't trying to get away with anything. Your belief systems were trying to take away things from you, your power. Because they weren't your belief systems. Until you have unconditional love for yourself, and you can actually be tired, you can be in a hurry, but that never leaves. Have you guys seen me waver just even 1 second? I won't waver. Why? Because I've been doing it long enough and strong enough that I can be unconscious of the fact. I don't have to think about, oh, I have to unconditional love, care for myself, respect myself. No, it's my program. You can't get me to disrespect myself. The only reason why you disrespect yourself and her to you is because that's been your program since you were younger. You're not bad people. There are no bad people. You're going to say, yes, there is. No, 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 no. There are people that have bad beliefs, and then there are people that have dangerous beliefs. Anybody can be programmed because the subconscious is 90% of the brain. It only runs programs. So are you going to let anybody put a program into your head again? Or are you going to observe that program and ask yourself, does that program, and will that program challenge you to vibrate higher, to become higher, to love better? So, the only thing I can tell you to do when this happens, which we are only weeks away or months away, I'm not making this up, is connect to that lion heart breath. 6 seconds in, 7 seconds out. Keep a slight smile on your face. Put your hand on your heart or your finger and process through your heart. And start practicing solitude. I can't be alone with myself. You better be able to be. I can't be happy with myself. I can't fill my own heart up with love. Okay, well, when everybody starts losing their shit, which they're going to, the majority of your family's going to. Well, nobody's prepared for it. It's like, you know what, if you don't want to starve, you gotta sow some seed and grow some crop. You know, it's like the horse has already left the barn, guys. We're a few weeks to maybe just a few months. We're not a year away, guys. We're not a year away. I'm not going to tell you what I think it's like because I'm going to be wrong. I'm not pretending I'm a psychic. Anybody that's done any homework and is logical know this is going on. Has anything changed in your life in the last 4 years? Does it look different? I mean, they were poisoning us our whole life, but now they're trying to ramp it up, right? Okay? So what are we going to do today? We are going to stay in the present moment and have the most beautiful day. You can't control anything but the present moment. You can see the people that have been taught through guilt. You can see the people that have been taught through fear. What's different? Well, that person's always in the past, regretful. And the other person is always in the future, okay, not wanting to move forward. If you don't get into the moment, as long as you get into your lion heart breathing, a slight smile, put your hand on your heart, you can't. The next time that you feel like you're going to react or something's happening in your life, all you have to do is those 3 things. You can't smile and have a depressive thought. Do depressed people smile? No. Do angry people smile?
In just over 2 minutes, I'm going to show you how I created this ebook using a feature called
You need to go against all your subconscious beliefs about that. You need to come right against it. Okay, so here's the deal. Anytime that I'm feeling bad, I have to have a slight smile, connect to my breath, and touch my hand over my God spot in my heart. And you will not be able to stay there. Do not open your mouth when you are being attacked. Do not open your mouth when you want to attack. That's all you got to do. Watch how hard it is. You have been taught to go to war. Now, what country goes to war more than any other war, and they say that they're the peacekeepers? Okay. All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break. Then we're going to come back and we're going to do a consultation on a really beautiful lady who's got a breast situation. Stage 4 inflammation. I'm going to give her a call while you're taking a 5-minute break. And remember something, slight smile, connect to your breath. And guess what? Whenever you are having a low vibrational thought, put your hand on your heart. Let's not process through our mind until we go in and make that mind no longer a landmine. Thank you.